friends, I'm back again on another weird, wacky, wondrous Wednesday with another story from my book Flights from My Terrace. And the story that I'm going to read is The Man Who Came In From the Rain. Yes, it's a story, but a real story, a very, very intriguing story. The Man Who Came In From the Rain. So here I go. The Man Who Came In From the Rain. The temperature was 44 degrees Celsius and suddenly the lights went off. Imagine a hot June day in Rajasthan without power supply. It was horrifying. How to sleep in this heat? Ignoring the warnings of my husband, I picked up a mattress, a bed cover, a bottle of water, a flashlight and pillow and headed towards the terrace, where I hoped to spend the night. It was a starlit night, the stars valiantly trying to dispel the all-pervasive darkness. Someone coughed. An owl hooted in the distance. A couple of drunks suddenly belted out a hit number. A dog barked, followed by another. I spread the mattress, put the bottle of water on the side of the pillow, and lay down, covering myself with the bed cover. Reassured by the twinkling brightness, I peered at my watch. It was 1:30 a.m. There was a slight breeze in the trees. Suddenly, there was the sound of footsteps. Was someone coming up the stairs? "Is that you, Lalit?" I asked the darkness. Maybe my husband had also decided to spend the night on the terrace? No one answered. No one answered. But the sound of footsteps was now clearer, slow and steady. Who was it? Who was it climbing the stairs at the dead of night? Some lost soul? Were they trying to warn me or soothe my frayed nerves? The leaves were rustling. Was it a burglar? A crisp crack of thunder in the distance almost spooked me out of my makeshift bed. The starlit sky was threatened by a cloudy assault, and I by a stranger coming up the stairs. Was he one of the drunks who had been singing on the road just some time back? I closed my eyes as I felt the footsteps stopping just next to my makeshift bed. A tiny drop fell on my face. I squinted. Lightning again cracked, and for a brief moment, night transformed into day. Through half-closed eyes, I saw a tall man with a narrow, scruffy face, a sharp nose, disheveled hair, wearing some kind of a shabby topcoat, knee-length boots, and a belt around the coat, standing next to my bed. His face framed by his waterlogged hair, he shook his mane and tiny droplets fell on my face. Had he probably come from some place where it had been raining? I lay straight on the floor, not moving, my heart pounding and my body taut. There was complete silence for some time. Complete silence. Had the stranger gone? I opened my eyes wide and found myself staring into big, invasive eyes. The stranger had picked up the flashlight from my side, flicked it on, and was flashing it on my face. Our gazes froze for an instant, and in that moment, I saw the intense sadness that seemed to spill out of those eyes. To my immense horror, the stranger bent low. A bead of perspiration ran down my face and mingled with the raindrops that were falling down from his shaggy hair. What was he about to do? He bent still lower. I swallowed, and then, with one hand, he picked up the bottle of water by my side and frantically poured it down his gullet. Then he flicked off the flashlight, and a couple of seconds later, I could hear the sound of descending footsteps. Tuck, 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 tuck. Had he taken the flashlight with him? That was the first thought that came to my mind. No sooner had he gone than I made a dash for the stairs with my mattress and pillow. Yes, he had taken the flashlight with him. My husband was fast asleep on the sofa on the sofa, not on the bed. He was fast asleep on the sofa. I threw myself on the divan, lying next to the window, my mind a bubbling cauldron. Morning crept stealthily on sleepy Bharatpur. Suddenly, I heard some commotion outside the boundary wall of the government quarters. What was up? I, still groggy with sleep, I peeped through the window next to the divan. There was a knot of people outside talking and gesticulating in a highly excited state. I decided to go down and see for myself. "Who is he?" asked a man with a squinty-eyed look. "Is he dead?" A man in a night suit, brushing his teeth vigorously with a neem stick, wanted to know. "He must be a beggar," said one, picking at his surprisingly white teeth with a safety pin. "He looks like a thief," said another, picking up the flashlight from his side and peering closely at him. All sorts of questions were ricocheting around. I insinuated myself between two men and managed to set my eyes on the scene which I had already expected to see. It was the nocturnal stranger lying on the ground, looking entirely different in the light of a new day. He was not dead. No, he was not dead, but sleeping the sleep of the innocent. "Throw water at him," one suggested. "Get up," said another, kicking him on the shins. Someone threw water at him. He got up, looking around him with a disoriented air. Then his eyes fell on the flashlight in the man's hand. He almost snatched it from his hand and handed it to me, mumbling words to the effect that he needed the flashlight to see his way in the dark. Then he again looked at me with those intensely sad eyes and walked away, dusting his topcoat. How had the man recognized me as the owner of the flashlight? He had hardly seen me for a moment, I thought, looking at his receding back. A few days later, there was a news item that made me sit back on my bed and read it twice. It said, "An unidentified man wearing a topcoat, knee-length boots, and a belt around the coat was found dead near the railway station. There is a strong indication that he was a spy." My mind seethed with unanswered questions. Who was that stranger who had come in from the rain? A mendicant? A murderer in a mendicant's garb? Was he really a spy? To this day, I have not forgotten that look of intense sadness in the stranger's eyes. To me, he was neither a burglar nor a spy, neither a filthy hobo nor a pervert, but an intensely sad man. An intensely sad man, thirsty, very thirsty, on a dark, dreary night, perhaps looking for some water that would quench his thirst, quench the thirst of a tired heart, and some light that would pierce the darkness that seemed to have grounded right into his soul. Thank you, friends, for listening.